Because I really don't know what I would do if I didn't have some work that I had to get to.
Hello, hello, hello. This is Shirley Crawford, the owner of Second Chance Consulting and the executive director of the Women's Business Center located at 1510 Willow Drive, directly across the street from the Kroger at Willow, coming to you with another episode of WorkHARDAholics. Woo! I don't know about you, but it's been a mighty busy season. There's lots going on. Right now, I'm in Virginia, so we are entering phase one of the reopening of the state and businesses and stores. And it's very interesting happenings around here. And here's the deal. So with all of that going on, as you all know, I like to start every week with the word for the week. But for those of you who don't know that, let me tell you a little bit more about what a workaholic is. Because you might not know. And it's not yet in the dictionary, but give me time. I made the word up. A workaholic is someone who is always doing something. We don't rest on our laurels. We don't wait for the world to bring it to us. We take it to the world. But here's the thing. While we're not your average bear, we're highly productive individuals. Sometimes we have to make sure that we are, living in balance. So that's what this time is about. We come together for just a few minutes each week just to go over some tips, some tools, some techniques, learn a new word, learn how to be a little more productive, and still learn to breathe, learn to stay in balance together, because we fully appreciate, we're not judging here. We're just going to help you do you a little bit better. So with that in mind, the word for the week. So, as I was saying, because there's so much happening all at the same time, it can make you feel a little batty, right? Because you're like, what do I respond to? Do I respond to this over here, or this over there, or that over there, or this which is happening here? And all of a sudden, I have more responsibilities than I've ever had before, personally, professionally, emotionally, spiritually, mentally, physically. Just, there's a lot happening. And so, it can make you think that things are in a bit of a havoc. There's our word. Did you catch it? Havoc, right? And havoc can be like this widespread destruction, and so it sounds like a really negative thing. But then, so I am, once again, if I haven't mentioned, right here in good old VA. Few years back, lots of you had never heard of VCU, or Virginia Commonwealth University, until Shaka Smart. So Coach Smart came in and he had this style of basketball, and his style was what he called havoc. And so and the whole point was to do things not the normal way. So where someone would expect that your normal inclination would be to go right, then they would go left. And so it's all about disruption, and disruption is a really big word. It's one of those really popular words that I don't always feel so much, but it's a really popular theme right now in business. And so what that means is if you're coming in as a new business owner, a new concept, you're just supposed to disrupt your industry, right? And that's how you're going to get clients and feedback and attention and publicity, because you're changing things so drastically. Dramatically. That's a made up word, but I kind of like it. I won't lie. Dramatically and drastically all together. Dramatically. You heard it here first. But it's not really a word. And so that's what disruption is about. And that's exactly what they did. So much so that VCU ended up in the Sweet 16 where it hadn't been in like eons. And so that's what happened. And that's what can happen with you as well. So while we're talking about the fact that right now there is a lot of havoc, there is a lot of confusion, there's a lot of misunderstandings, there's a lot of things we just don't know. And so the questions for you is, what do you do with the havoc? Are you the havoc? Are you the one that's going to come out and say, I'm going to change the game right now because I can? Or are you the one who's always in the corner going, I don't want to be a beta tester. Tell me when it's over. After 1 million people are on Facebook, then I'll join. I don't want to go on a TikTok, which I really don't want to go on a TikTok, but that's just a social media example, right? So once again, our word for the week, Say it with me, havoc. All right, and so that takes me into our time tool technique for the week. And so keeping that in mind, because there's so much information out there, and some of us are visual learners, some of us are audible, some of us are tactile. We need to touch it. There's lots of different ways that we learn things. I tend to be very visual, which is why there's so much stuff all around me, because I like to see it. And so one of the things that I know works for me, and if you've been with me for a while, you've heard this piece of advice because I have shared it once before, but I use it so much that it was worth recycling. Recycle, reduce, reuse. And so for you non-Mac people, we love you anyway. There's a thing called awesome screenshots. And it's just that. It's awesome. You can add it to Chrome, and then you can actually go in and take screenshots, take video shots, etc. You Mac people, it's included. I can alt Command 4 right now and I can take a slither of my screen, whichever piece I want, and utilize. I do it all the time. I have automatic options to take the whole screen. I can use QuickTime Player to take screenshots. Whereas you iPhone people think it's something new. It's not. It's been with QuickTime the entire time that you can take screenshots of video, even of activity. But awesome screenshots will let you annotate what you see. So if you see something and you want to write a box around it or write an arrow here, like, look, click here, you can do all that in awesome screenshots. So with everything that I mentioned, it's free, but there are always like a paid upgrade option that you can utilize with that. So if you're looking for a way to bring some order to your life because you saw it here, you saw it here, you saw it there, take some screenshots, drop them into a folder, you're welcome. Alrighty then. So this now takes me to our bucket moment, because as I've mentioned before, and it's worth mentioning again, every millionaire, every person who's been in business for a while successfully frequently mentions that you need to read biographies in particular to learn from other people's life lessons. And I have to admit, I have learned a lot just by reading about what people did wrong, what they did right, and sometimes even seeing how it was a connection, right? Something I would consider as divine intervention. And so there's this part of it that if you're, I know I quote Andy Mineo a lot, and I'm going to say it again because it's my favorite quote. If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. Others have said, it goes back to a quote by Seneca, I believe. Seneca. I've used it before. And the whole piece is, if you're prepared, that when the moment comes, when opportunity presents itself and you're ready, that's when the magic happens. That's the gist of it. All right. And so you always want to be in that position to be ready. So even now, I was talking about the bucket moment. I haven't told you the name of the book yet. It's called The Discomfort Zone, How Leaders Turn Difficult Conversations into Breakthroughs. It's by Marsha Reynolds. And if you don't know who she is, look her up. She actually gave a talk at Google about this subject matter like several years ago. And so the whole piece is, especially right now, we're all kind of in a discomfort zone, but discomfort means an opportunity for growth. You've heard me say it before. Like if you have kids, I'm an auntie, no kids of my own. They'll talk about having pains in their joints when they're growing. And that's often why boys sleep a lot, because they want to go to bed and they wake up taller. And you're like, didn't you go to bed? Yeah. It was just much more comfortable for them to sleep through the process. Growth is uncomfortable, but growth is where opportunity lies. And that's what I want for each of you. And with that in mind, sliding into our work hard, play harder moment, I have some D's for you. Like normally I'm not a D person, but disrupt, disassemble, and dare, right? So with all the things that are happening in that discomfort zone, it's time for you to consider, where can you make your mark? Where is now your entryway? You've always wanted it to be a little different. Now is your time, because people need different, because they're all into the situation where life is not the same as usual. That means it's an opportunity for you, who isn't the standard usual cookie cutter, to now jump in and be a leader. So that's what the disrupt is for. Disassemble is really to take a time to analyze, to see what's going on out here. Take a moment, internalize, and figure out what's happening. Where are the breakdowns? Who's building up? Who's tearing down? And what needs to be built in between? Because it could be you. And with that in mind, you can dare to be the one who makes the difference and gets it done. That's all for me today. Once again, Shirley Crawford, the original WorkHARDaholic. And as I always say, live better, do better, be better. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And happy entrepreneuring. Ta-ta.
Because I really don't know what I would do if I didn't have some work that I had to get to.